I am so yellow. Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to another stream. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm doing just fine. I trusted that NVIDIA would not do me dirty with this camera, with the auto settings, but yet here we are. I looked fine earlier, the few moments before stream, but I guess we have to do everything ourselves out here. All right, let me just adjust some things here real quick. So I look like a normal human being that's not being washed out by a bright light that's pointing straight at me. I think that's the best we're getting here. I think that's the best we're getting unless I turn on the lights a little brighter. Yep, that's good. We're good. Yeah, we're good. Man, I really wish I had like anti-glare glasses or something. Because I always just like don't want to wear my glasses during stream so I don't get the glare. But they help with seeing. I'm sure you guys understand understand that. Well, the backing on this thing just fell, so we're just gonna put that over there. But yeah, hi, welcome. I hope you guys are ready for just like a whirlwind of making as many of these cards as we can, or the art as we can. I think I am gonna stick with this idea though, the idea of having like a good and bad outcome, or like what kind of quality the item is. Whether it's old and rickety or young and shiny, or new and shiny. Also, late stream today, sorry about that. I'm just not 100% today. So I kind of was back and forth about whether or not I was going to stream at all today because of that, but I decided at the end of it, you know what? We'll stream anyways. My keyboard isn't sitting well. Give me a second. Taking out whatever the hell is under it. Oh, also, hey, remember how I was talking about getting my mom nail polish for Christmas? I finally got it. It did have, oh, you can barely see it. It did have like a stickers on both sides. Luckily this one came off really nicely, but like the top of the box, that had like the big USPS sticker, and that one didn't come off nearly as easily as the first one. It's a nice box though. I really enjoy it as the Holo Taco symbol there. And honestly, the box looks great. It says, what does it say? It says Holo Taco up here where my finger is, then hello, it's me. And then the nail polishes are in there. I'm trying to not disappear it as much as I can here. But they're nice. It's 4 nail polishes and 1 base coat. It's the white one's the base coat. And I really like them. Like the packaging looks great. Obviously it's hollow, so you're getting all that hollow bit. And I wonder if they have like different packaging for like different amounts of nail polish you get, or I just like was fortunate because I picked up 4, and I think they already have like a deal for 4. I didn't want that deal though, because the deal is you get 4 products. One of them is a base, one of them is a topper, and one of them is a creme. And I think one of them is like a hollow topper. I'm not 100%, but I wanted more nail polishes than that, so I just went with nail polishes and 1 base. We went with the quick drying base because that one seemed to be like what would be more convenient for the case. But yeah, I just got it today. I was actually kind of starting to get a little nervous about it because it was not arriving It originally had a, what am I doing? Collection of hats? Okay. Maybe we don't do this color. But yeah, so it was originally supposed to come on the 8th, I think. Which, like, in retrospect, by the 11th, that's not a bad date. I was more nervous about the fact that less about the fact that it was late and more about the fact that by the 6th of December, I just like zero communication from the, so it originally went through the UPS, and then it transferred to the United States Postal Service, the USPS, and that's where like communication got lost. So I was just like, and that was on the 6th. It went out of New Jersey, and arrived in Texas, somewhere, some random place I've never heard of before, Carlton, I think it was called. And I was like, okay, sure. I mean, it's in Texas. It shouldn't take that long. It's, it should get here by the 8th. And then I just heard nothing about it, which, like, that's what happens when you defund public services. But I was starting to get a little nervous about it. I didn't even think I was going to get it today. Because it started doing that thing where it's like, I'm going to get here. Your package should get here the day after the day we just said, even though we've given you zero evidence to prove that. And then it was like, no, we're gonna go with this idea. But yeah, so it started doing that, and I was starting to get a little nervous. I was like, or is it actually gonna get here on time, or like, are we lost? It's like less is it gonna get here in time? More, are you lost? Am I gonna get it at all? Hey, Mr. Limey, how are you doing today? Dude, one day someone's gonna gaslight me into thinking that's you, Mr. Limey. Before I look up. I'm just gonna get mad pranked. How you doing today, Mr. Limey? How are you feeling today? I'm gonna do like a big puffball up here, like I've seen on some of these hats. And that's just the end of that. That's just what I'm doing. I'm just giving a little bit of an update. So exhausted. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Okay. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I thought that was gonna go a little bit better for us, and it didn't. I'm gonna try and make this a little bit smaller and see if I can get the same effect. I was hoping to do the same thing I did with the wreath and the other thing, but I guess we're just not gonna get it. We're just gonna have to be happy with that. That's just gonna have to be what we're happy with. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Mr. Limey. And I must be catching you, unless you have the day off, I must be catching you like right before you head out. Because I'm so late today. I actually have to look up what a beanie looks like. Or a toque or whatever the fuck you call it in your part of the country. Or place in the world. A cap. A toque. Leaving in about 20 minutes. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, this is what I'm looking for. Well, I appreciate you dropping by before you having to head out for work. I forgot what I was just talking about. Aside from the fact that I've been thinking about this too. Oh, the nail polishes. Yeah. And so I thought it was just like not going to get here. I was like really starting to get nervous that it just like wasn't going to get here. And I think what made me even more nervous about it is that I had already like I didn't choose like I chose what this present was going to be, me, myself, and I. But I with my mom, we handpicked the four polishes she was going to pick up. So like she knows what her present is. So if it wouldn't have gotten here on time, despite me having ordered it in at the end of November, I would have just felt like the biggest piece of shit because it would have just sounded like I was lying to her. Um, so that's I think the part that I was most nervous about this package not getting here, or me getting no communication about where the fuck this package was at any point. Because, like, even the USPS was real shifty about letting me know where this package was. Like, I had to go in myself and press a bajillion buttons to get to a point where I got the info. So I was nervous. I don't know how to make this. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it'll look like it at the end of it. Oh, the way this is circled and makes it look like this is the inside of the like this is the inside of the hat and this is the outside. Hmm. I don't know if there's any way I can make this work or just work with it. That's actually very impressive considering this is not even remotely what I was aiming to do with this. Hmm. I guess we just make this maybe like a darker color of this to clarify this is the inside of this hat. I don't know, guys. I'm from Texas. We don't get cold enough to wear these kinds of hats. I have some of these. If you guys were over on Trooper's channel and when I was doing the Knights Black Agents, I always remember because it's NBA, and I'm always just like, what order do these words go in? The Knights Black Agents. I did a lot of outfit changes during that, or like just small little changes to kind of exemplify that my character was a spy. And the specialty I wanted my character to have was that they were an undercover spy. They were someone who constantly was, you know, the more I think about it, the more perfectly I kind of just like walked into Trooper's like storyline. You know, the more I think about it, the more like I fully understand why Trooper just kept giggling when I was discussing this character because I figured it out because we were just I think we were just gonna hang out and he was just I think we were just gonna hang out and I think he was gonna propose this idea to me, but then we ended up like talking for literal hours before we even approached this topic, the topic of like a game he wanted to introduce me or invite me to. And so it was like already late by the time he introduced it to me and I accepted. I was like, yeah, absolutely. I would love to be in this game with you. That sounds like a fucking blast. Absolutely. Sign me up. And he was giving me the premise of what he was giving me the premise of what it was. And I was like, oh, that sounds so super cool. I am very excited to like to get into it. And he's like, and he asked me, unfortunately, the very dangerous question of, do you have any ideas yet? Like, I know I literally just introduced this idea to you, but like, do you have any ideas? Anything going through your mind right now? Um, and unfortunately for him, I did, or very fortunately for him, I guess I did, because that meant from that moment he was able to start creating creating this storyline. Um, and I was just like, oh yeah, like I'm thinking about this kind of like, God, I wish I remembered exactly what I told him that night. It was just one of those things that like I just kept talking and ideas kept coming to me, so I just kept talking about it. Um, and Trooper just kept plotting. Um, I would like a holiday-esque one with like some sort of pattern on it. What if I do like a Christmas beanie? What do you give me if I do that? Or a winter beanie? It has to be Christmas beanie. I'm thinking like the Christmas sweaters. You know how they have a bunch of like when they're knitted sweaters, they have like that fun little pattern looking thing. I'm trying to like, yeah, like you. I won't show this one because it has a little child associated with it, even though it's a professional photo. I'm assuming for some brand. I feel uncomfortable just showing a random kid on the internet, so we won't show it, but I will take his the pattern on this, or as best as I can, I guess. And so yeah, and I was just like, yeah, it's gonna, I'm thinking I like the idea of like of an undercover spy. Like I like the idea of what that kind of story would be. Just a character who doesn't know who she is. And like she has done so much undercover work that she doesn't like know her own identity at this point. And Trooper kept hitting me with like, oh yeah, because the story is gonna be like, you're gonna be blackmailed by the or you're gonna be like ousted from this because of conspiracy theories, because you saw some because of vampires. And I was just like, oh, that's so interesting. Okay, well, like what if this is made more sad? Because here's the thing about me. Here's the thing. If you ever need to know how my methodology comes when it comes to creating a character is, my methodology is, how can I make this more sad? That's where you could always find me with creating character concepts. I in fact dial back the sad, because sometimes I'm just like, ooh, that I think is a little too sad. Let's dial that back a little bit. But I will always create a character that is just is sad. In fact, it is like an exercise for me to create like happy characters. If you ever see me playing a happy character, or like a character with like no like tragic backstory, it's because I actively thought, what's the saddest thing I can think of? Okay, now let me just flip that and make that the happiest occasion here. Because that's just the kind of person I am. So but like, because I was doing this off the cuff with Trooper, I just like, Trooper kept introducing like an idea to me, or like a point in the story, or just like playing off of me, right? And that meant that there was no time for like filter. There was no like how do I make this not as sad as I am making it? Instead, there was just more yes anding. How can we make this more sad? And that's why my character, its parents died. And also, like, it's also like a huge conspiracy theory game in general. So, like, honestly, tragic backstories like really work here. And so I I just like kept I just kept going that way. I just kept thinking like, all right, how can I make this even more tragic? Like, how can I make this tragedy even more of a tragedy? And with Trooper there just straight up encouraging me, I kept going for it. Which is why I was just like, yeah, it's gonna be like a character who just like doesn't who's lost herself, like who she is as a person after spending all of her like 20s and early 30s just being someone else, being undercover, like deep undercover, like months at a time work. Like that's the kind of like undercover I was talking about with Trooper. And so like he got a good idea as to the like personality of this character pretty early on. And Trooper loves spy stuff too. So like he was super into it all, super into like all of the tropes we could fall into and stuff like that. Because I don't have too much like spy movie experience. To be the like biggest I think spy movie I've ever watched is probably like Salt. With Angelina Jolie. Cause I've never really watched a Bond movie, which I think is probably like the biggest spy movie. That doesn't look very significant, but I think it actually is making quite a difference there. So I'll like just a rough edge, I think, add something, even when you're looking at it from far off. Oh, we've got an ad coming up soon. But yeah, so because I went with that kind of character, I decided I was going to do a bunch of that while we were playing, as my character was going to be changing outfits, because I came up with that pretty early on that my character was just gonna be switching her identity and her, like, because that's what she does, right? She's like very good at falling into another person. So she did that a lot through the game, and also just did a lot of quick changes so she could get lost in the crowd. Because she was in Russia, and being surveilled not only by the country as a British, although I came in as an American, but it definitely was I was a person of interest as soon as I got off of the plane. So, I was making sure that they didn't know who I was, so I didn't blow the cover. But also like the supernatural things that were like keeping track of me, I also wanted to keep those eyes off of me as much as possible. And a lot of it came from just like changing outfits. So I wanted to emphasize that in me personally, IRL, the person you were watching, was also changing out or like changing small things, outfits, putting my hair up, putting my hair down. In fact, when Trooper, which I still need to do for Trooper asked me ages ago, but I just knew it wasn't like a top priority. So I just haven't done it yet. In fact, I was kind of waiting for it to get cold, and I'm still waiting for it to like just get baseline cold. Because right now we're in the phase where it's like, oh, it's 60 degrees outside, but don't you worry, tomorrow it's going to be in the 80s. But don't you worry, because the next day it's going to get down into the 30s. But it's going to keep on creeping until we reach the mid 70s. So I'm like waiting for it to just get like a nice, like the air is cold and like the ground is cold. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of what I'm waiting for because I was dying because we did it in the summer, and I had layers of coats on because we were in Russia, and even if we weren't, we were in my character's from Britain, so like they were gonna have a bunch of um they were gonna have a bunch of coats on no matter where they were gonna end up going. I didn't know we were gonna go to Russia, but I knew I was at least gonna start off in Britain, in England. So, or if not, if nothing else, I knew it was gonna be Europe. Into the spring. So I was just like, this is going to be a little cold, so let me make sure I have a jacket on. And because I was doing quick changes, that meant I had a lot of layers on. So it was very cold. I only just finally put away all the clothing that I had because I kept it all out for those like 5 weeks. So I could just put it all back on and I wouldn't forget a piece. But I definitely was struggling with how hot it was. So I was just like, well, when I do this next thing, Trooper asked me to do a like the like the sort of like quick spy clip for just an intro video, right? For just like the classic, and then card. I forget my character's name over me, played by PB plays inside, and then it switches to the next guy, right? So that's what I need to do. But again, I just wore a lot of cloak. I wore a lot of clothes, and it was really hot. So in an attempt to prevent that situation from happening again, I am. It's partially why I decided that my character was going to go to the Caribbean or wherever the hell I sent my love interest, because I didn't want to put a cloak back on because it was so cold or it was so hot. No amount of air conditioning. I had like everything on. I had my fan on the side on max. I had my fan up top on max. I had my AC running to a point that it wouldn't make my wallet cry. So I did everything I possibly could to make myself as cool as possible, but even still. So that's going to be something I'm going to be doing here. Probably if it cools down, honestly. I'm probably do it because I've been thinking about it. And I just washed all my my coats, all my coats, all my jackets and hoodies and stuff. So the time might be coming. Maybe that's how we get away with this. But yeah, I did all those quick changes in that because I thought it would just be visually a more interesting thing to watch. And if there's anything I know from Troopers, like Trooper is a person. Hey, Dan, what's up? Like Trooper is the guy who inspired me to be more to like inspired me not only to start doing, have fun at work, Mr. Limey, don't hurt yourself and be safe. Next time I see you, you better not be hurt, injured, or dying. Bye, Mr. Limey, stay safe. Um, but yeah. So I am yeah, Trooper inspired me to do game night because I wanted to do I've wanted to do TTRPGs on my channels for a long time. So much so that ages ago I made a another Twitch account because I was just like, not you guys, but the channel that the people who watched me at that point had no interest in TTRPGs. All good, half lurk. Helping soon to be ex-housemate pack their last few bits. I see. Yeah, absolutely. Do your thing, Dan. Dan was talking in his stream earlier today about how he's moving his setup to a different place in his household. At that point in time, while they were discussing that, I was unable to reply to them in chat because I was cooking, but I was he in his mind he thinks it's gonna take about 2 hours. I think in his heart he knows it's gonna take longer than that. And in my mind, as I was a handful of just gunk as I was cooking, all I could think about, it was oil. I had a bunch of oil in my hands. All I could think about was how I had this desk fully built. I had everything on this table mostly put on there. It just had to be organized. And I had mentally prepared myself to unplug and replug everything in. Because, like, I already had everything here. I had already unplugged and replugged everything, but I just wanted to move my my tower somewhere else. So, like, all of that was fresh in my mind. So I knew none of that was gonna take long. Hey, Kalino, just stopping by before bed. It's my favorite old man, Callan. No, I saw what time you woke up this morning, Callan. So no worries. Thanks so much for stopping by and saying hello before heading to bed. I appreciate it. I appreciate you stopping by and saying hello. But I was thinking about that, and all I had to do, and like this table was already built. I built it the week before. So all I had to do was move that desk over there, or that table over there, unplug my PC and move it down onto the bottom shelf of this table. I wanted to finish sweeping under that portion in that corner of the room. So I had to do that. And then I needed to move my extension stuff up because my table in the corner is taller than both my desk and my table. So I needed to boop that extension cord or power strip. That's what they're called. This power strip up by like 2 inches and probably actually get like nails that would fit and go into the wall. Into the sheetrock because I was using thumbtacks before and I didn't use thumbtacks. I used actual nails, but like they didn't work. So I was just like, max, this is gonna take me to maybe 3 hours. Yeah, I'll leave the lurk. Have a good stream. Thank you so much, Callan. And you also, I hope you have a good night. I'll talk to you later, man. Have a good one. And don't work too hard. I thought I was like max 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. It took me 8 hours. 8 hours to do all of that. Because you know what? Honestly, it's on me because I was a little too lax to start with. Because I was just like, this is going to take like 2 hours. I have the whole day to do this. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to get this done in like no time. And then I'm going to go out and I'm going to do... and I'll have some free time because I did this in October when I didn't have time for anything in October because I was just constantly prepping for stuff. So I was like, I'll just have some extra time to prep for stuff. entire day I was exhausted. I couldn't like my lower back done for. I couldn't like sit up straight. Um my thighs the next day did not want to support me at all. They were just like, we're done for. We did all the work. You don't need me today. I did it on the Saturday. And literally all I did was sit the next day. Sit or lay down. I was exhausted from just everything was already done too. I think that's the part that befuddles me the most. Yeah, I know I'm being way too optimistic about how things will take to set up tomorrow, but also I might just simply stream the setup itself. Everything is content TM. I thought that was a great idea from whoever suggested it. Um, because those, I mean, they're fun to watch people set stuff up. But I never know how people actually do it. When they're like setting up their entire setup. Like I couldn't do it. I couldn't stream it. I guess I could have done it on my phone. I could have like done the stream from my phone and that could have been it, but I also didn't want anyone seeing me like that. I have knees that do not like being on a solid ground. I grew up on carpet. Like everything in the house used to be carpet. And so like whenever I like was on the ground doing anything on my knees, they were like well cushioned. But then in a lot of marching band kind of fucked my knees up. I think that'll work. And so I never get down on my unless I absolutely have to, I'm never on my knees to like do anything. I just squat as much as I can or I just sit down. But like making a lot of these tables, I had to be on my knees doing things. And because I haven't like sat on my knees and everything is tile now, my God, does that hurt so bad? I need to buy knee pads because I can't. My poor little non-calloused baby knees just cannot deal with it. They've never known the labor of staying on themselves for a long time. In marching band, we had this move. We did two things. One I think was my sophomore or my junior year, where we had to do the a kneel like that. So like, you know, ba 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 ba, and then very slowly go down on a knee like that, and play one leg up, one our knee on the ground, and then we had to stand back up and then go back about our day. I'm trying to think what the second one was. This one sucked, but at least you can go. This one sucked because we had to go down fast, because it was a slow song. And so it was a dramatic, like, a dramatic moment where, like, the brass would go, bum. So it was like a ba-da-da, 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 ba. So as soon as they were going to go, ba, everyone would go down. And so it was like a cool dramatic moment, whatever. But that sucked because we didn't practice on turf. We practiced on the parking lot. Our concrete parking lot. So when we would go down, we were just like slam our fucking knee onto the concrete as we were going down. And also it was rough. Like, I guess parking lots have to be rough, so like you have traction when it rains. But that sucks to like be on your knees for. Like it sucked on the turf also because turf has all those like little black specks of like rubber in them. But that hurt a lot less than being on the concrete because at least like it cushioned you. Um, like the little rubber bits that felt like gravel, like that also hurt a lot. But the cushion hurt less. I like if I had to choose, I would rather be kneeling on the turf than on my bare knees rather than the that parking lot. Because like the parking lot also had little pebbles in it too. And that was also unpleasant. I can't remember what the second move was. I think it was my senior year that we did it. But I remember having to do something on our knees there too. That was unpleasant also. Maybe it was the same move and we were just in it. I was just used to it. Yeah, it was definitely a thing. It was definitely an experience and a half. But not where I hurt my knees. I did hurt my knees in marching band and both times they were in practice. No, one of them was in a performance. One of them was in practice. In that same, actually, it was that same year where we had to do the da 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 da. I was, oh my God, what was it? We were moving forward, right? And so I'm sure you guys have seen marching bands. Who do like football shows and stuff like that. So there's a lot of formations where you are like a square or like a diamond. Like you're either a diamond, a square, or like a circle or whatever, but those circles don't really matter. Squares and diamonds are rough because like those are so obvious when someone is out of line or like the straight lines stop being so straight. That becomes super obvious to the observer. So you have to make sure everything's right. And because everything is relative in marching band, like you practice exact spots on the field, but every field is slightly different. And while you can put all the marks you want and have all these visual indicators in your practice field, you're not going to do this performance on the practice field or even in your home field. Most of the time, you're going to do it on the stranger's field. So you have to learn it not by like markers of even like the 50 40 50 45 or any of the hashes. You can kind of rely on the hashes a little bit but not that much, because on the day of you have to rely on everybody else around you. So so when you are um one of the important points on this square, so any of the 4 points of a diamond or a square, usually you're going from a square formation to like a diamond formation, and then you move out to like whatever next shape you're gonna make. So when you're a square twisting as like 50 people, everyone works off of the people in the front, but the most important people are the people in the corners, because if they are incorrect, the lines are gonna start becoming more fucky. They're gonna start skewing instead of being straight. So I was this corner. Also, the other important thing about being on one of the edges is that if you do something wrong on the edge, it's super fucking obvious. If you're a little off where everybody else is, or more importantly, when you're moving, the way you're moving, it's super obvious. Because you don't have the camouflage of a bunch of people in the middle. The people in the middle also need to do their jobs, obviously, but they're a little less obvious to the eye. Because you're looking at the shape, and when you're looking at the shape, you're not looking at the blob in the middle. You're looking at the sharp edges. And that goes for any shape. It could be like a little wave or whatever. The people on the outside are always going to be the first people the judges are looking at, which is the important thing about the performances, is what are the judges going to see? Like birds, flocking behavior, exactly. So coming up, we were going to move forward, and then we were going to move to the side. That was the formation. The whole block that I was in was moving forward, and then we were moving to the side as a block. So it was very important we kept our lines, and very important we kept our shape. I was the little tippy point over here. So I was the one you were going to see move forward and move this way. First, where your eye's going to go, me in this little corner over here. So it was very important that my everything was correct. My posture, I was a flute player, so I needed to make sure my flute was parallel to the ground. I needed to make sure that my shoulders were square to the sideline. I needed to make sure that my form, my feet, were my marching form was correct. My knees were moving correctly. And most importantly, when I was making my turn, this way, so going straight, then turning and doing everything correct, I needed to make that the sharpest move I've ever made in my entire life. So as I'm moving forward, right? And you move this way, you have one count to go from this forward momentum to sideways. So that's a shift on your hips and mostly a shift to this outside leg, right? So you anchor with this leg, and then you swing with this leg, and then you move completely parallel to the sideline, because that's what the move was. It was move forward and then it was do a complete 90-degree turn, but only with my bottom half. So when I was doing this, in practice, one of the times I did this, I swung this leg out a little too far, and and in an effort to make the count, because it was we were going pretty fast. It was probably like a solid 150, 160 tempo we were going. So that's how fast we're moving. It was ba ba ba, ba 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 ba, right? Except I even paused there, ba 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 ba, right? I needed to make sure that this turn was quick and sharp, and so I swung this leg out too far. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to have enough time to make this turn and stay on tempo. I need to kick fat. I need to use the momentum of my hip to kick my leg forward. But I didn't have time for that because I was already mid hip flip. So I used my knee to gain more momentum. And because I did that, I overextended my knee and I hurt it. But that's halfway through the performance, so it hurt. But I couldn't stop, and so I just kept going. And I also just never stopped being on that knee. So, it hurt, but it wasn't that big of a deal. It was in the middle of one of our full practices, so very rarely in marching band do you do a performance of the whole song, the whole 8-minute performance, because it's exhausting. It's exhausting to do the whole 8 minutes, movement and music. If you're going to do that in practice, you're going to do that at the very end, and instead you're just going to work on parts of it. So this was that day we did it twice in a row because we were getting close to performance time, competition time. And that was the first time around. So the second time I did, I was I made sure to lock in and not fuck my knee or fuck up on that turn and have to overcompensate in the way I did. And no, I felt it then too. But kind of had to keep going with it. I didn't have to. I chose to keep going with it. And I just never told anyone. I at no point did I ever tell anyone that I fucked up my knee there. There was another time I did something. It wasn't similar. I can't remember what I did to fuck up my other knee. I might have just given out, to be honest with you. I don't remember. It's too long ago now. But I did something very similar in marching band. And that might be honestly the last similarity there. It was in marching band. But yeah, it was like birds flocking. that I did something like that. So so now both of my knees in adulthood are bad. I mean, they were bad in high school after or in college after that also. I noticed right away that something is wrong with my knee. But something you need to know about me is that I'm very stubborn. Um, so I was not gonna let that stop me from enjoying my day, my activity. Because like if I said something, they would not want me to be in marching band anymore, probably. And that was simply a reality I was unwilling to accept. So instead, I just kept my mouth shut. Your girl don't snitch, especially on herself. I need to move my chat elsewhere so I can actually see it when you guys when I see the message pop up. Closest experience I ever had to that was learning to line dance in high school. Yeah, understandable. I learned that that was a thing you did in PE. But my PE credit went. I got out of PE by being in marching band. Marching band was my PE credit. But I learned that people did that. I was like, oh wow, I had no idea. Which was I was pretty good at. A fact that still shames me to this day. Look, no, it is an experience to be. Dance is an expression of a fun. Just because it seems kind of lame doesn't mean that it's not something we should feel bad about. What am I doing here? It almost looks like a Valentine's thing, but we're just gonna roll with it. I think I did heard it in a performance. No, I heard it. I definitely heard it in a performance because I remember I had to be like, I was like crying. I was sobbing at the end of the performance, and at the sidelines, I had to be like helped up into the bleachers because I wasn't gonna be a bitch and not and walk off the field during a fucking performance. But that's fun. That's fun and a nice little fun fact. But you hurt your knee during line dancing? Or you hurt yourself during line dancing, I should say? The closest I've ever gotten to line dancing is what you do in like dances. Like the Cupid Shuffle, etc. We're just gonna live with that. We're gonna do one more. I actually really liked how this one came out, and I kind of want to do this one, but a different color. Oh, but it's on the same fucking layer. We're gonna have to do it by hand. Friends of mine. What was I gonna say? I'm looking at different pictures of beanies. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to decide what this last design is gonna look like. Well, no, more just the closest experience to something like band. Reason my Knees hurt in my 40s. This is not high school. Fair enough. No, yeah, the closest experience. Yeah, that's absolutely accurate. Um, like we did more extravagant moves than that, but none of that fucked me up. Like we did jazz running, which was such a terrible decision for my school to do the way we did it. I don't it was the first year we had done, first of all, anything like that. So like I don't know why they were so ambitious about this. I keep giving you guys like basic shit that you see like regular marching bands do, but in the same idea where we're squares or rectangles, we were moving in like the woodwinds and the brass were on different sides of the field. And then it was a fast song. There was a portion where only our percussion was playing down in the pit. I think it was just it might have also been the drum line. But definitely the pit were like going off. They had their the xylophones and the marimbas were fucking popping the fuck off. And maybe so was our drum line. I don't remember. But we weren't playing. Point is that we all had our instruments basically down. And all the formations we were doing, we eventually turned into rectangles. And then we approached each other and we were offset by like not by much. We like maybe 2.5. No, that's real generous. I'm trying to think like what it is in yardage. Like we were all supposed to be basically like 3 feet apart at the best, I think. Um, enough for our sousaphones to like be able to fit. But basically we all had to go to attention, or like put our instruments down, and then we had to intersect each other's rectangles until we ended up on the other side. And I don't think we ended up doing jazz running because we never were able to do it correctly. I say we weren't able to do it correctly. I feel like we weren't instructed well. Just as I've grown older and I've learned how jazz running is supposed to go through other outlets, I am just like, that doesn't feel like what we learned. And how I've heard other people do their formations like that, I feel like we did it in the least safe possible way. But we had to intersect each other, right? We had to go whoop. It's a really cool look when like two large groups just like intersect each other and start running past each other until you reach the other side, and now, you know, the same forms that just went like this pop out but on opposite sides of the field or the formation. Except we were in jazz running. I don't know if you guys know what jazz running is. I don't think the people who taught us what jazz running is told us correctly. They told us what their version of jazz running was that they learned in their marching bands in like college. It's basically where like you bend your knees and you go. I wish that's all it was. Just but like you bend your knees and then you run on your tippy toes. And you're supposed to just launch yourself. You're basically jumping. You're launching yourself you're propelling yourself forward. So you're jump running essentially. Like prancing but worse. And you're supposed to do that while keeping your upper body straight, and only your bottom half is doing your fucking leaping, jumping, running bullshit. Which, let me tell you, to a bunch of high schoolers doesn't mean anything when you explain it that way, but that was explained to us. And so you had to do that. And so it basically just, because we didn't know what they were asking us to do, because their explanation of jazz running was so esoteric that it was just like, I mean, I guess, I have to do something, so I guess I'm just gonna run. While like acting like I'm marching. which is absolutely the opposite of what they were asking us to do. But we had to move. The reason they were asking us to jazz run is because we had only like an 8 count or like a few bars essentially to. I think it was a full set. I think we had 16. Yeah, we had probably like 10 to 15 seconds to get the entire band separated into blocks to run past each other and end up on the other side. And we had to just go fast. And that's why they wanted us to do jazz running. But that's not what ended up happening. Let me tell you that right now, because what ended up happening every time we practiced it, first of all, we all hated doing it. Because you're literally running 3 feet is no room at all between you and the other person. Because first of all, remember the time I told you guys everything is relative? When you're on the field without any markers, really, except like the football lines. There's nothing aside from the numbers on the field. There is nothing to indicate where you are, backwards and forwards. Like when you are parallel to the sidelines, that's easy because there's hash marks. There's a yard lines there. When you're running parallel to the goalposts, nothing. There's nothing there except the numbers, and the numbers aren't in the same place on every field. They are relative to each field, so that's not even like a reliable source. When we were setting out to where we were, we would rely on our best marcher, our most consistent marcher, to mark it out with their steps to figure out where we were going to start off. And that's all we had. So when you're about 3, 4, 5 minutes into a performance, all of that, like you're taking that relativity very, very far. So when you suddenly turn to each other and you see that you're basically lined right the fuck up, you have to move as you're running. So the entire group has to shift while they're running. And that means that those, and like both fucking, it's probably like 5, 6 lines of people going like, let me illustrate this for you guys since we have this here. When I'm talking about squares, I'm talking like squares like this of people, you know, like, you have to think about each of these points. This is a person. That's what we're talking about here. So let me do this. It's just a bunch of people in line like this in the square, right? And these lines, they're hella long. They're like 20 people long or something. We won't bother much about it. But you see here how you could tell when the outside's fine, but in the middle things get wonky and you don't care that much. So the other group had to make sure they were offset here. So they could fit in here, or like they could fit through here, right? And the vice versa was true also, that these people could run through here. And so it's just these 2 masses of people just turning and looking at each other and then just sprinting past each other, making leaps and bounds. We were jazz running because you move faster. Because you're jumping, essentially, you're covering more yardage that way. So instead of, when you're marching normally, 8 steps is every 5 yards. So you can make 8 steps, 5 yards or 8 steps. So yards being 3 feet, 15 feet, 8 steps and 15 feet. So you're making about 2 feet, give or take, every step you take, right? Which is a fairly normal walking pace. When you're jazz running, obviously you're going from like small steps to a large leap or a large leap in yardage. And I think we needed to make, oh man, what do we need to do? We needed to make, I think it was 3 or 4 steps for each 5 yards we ran. So we had to fucking book it. And all your momentum is forward, right? There's no stopping. Once you start going, there's no stopping until you reach the end. And let me tell you, it became real easy to find out who was bad at marching band, doing marching band things, and who was good at it. Because if you were bad at it, you fucked everybody. You fucked it up for everyone around you. Because, you know, it followed the leader. And the leader being the person right here. And the leader then subsequently became everyone behind that first person. If this first person starts off fine, but this person starts drifting like I did here, then the person behind them starts drifting. And then if this other person behind them even drifts a little bit, then the person behind them starts drifting until you get this motherfucker that's drifted completely off. So instead of having this nice straight line, now you have some motherfucker up here. Which means that this guy up here is now in this guy's territory, who's running past them this way. So if everyone in this line is perfect, but someone in this line starts fucking up, then suddenly this line of just hurting band students with heavy, expensive instruments are running at each other. Will slam into you because you also can't see. All you see is the head in front of you because you're about a step, maybe 2 behind the person that's sprinting right in front of you. So if you were to stop at any point, the person behind you is going to hit you or run into you because they don't have enough time to stop. And if they hit you, the rest of the line's going to fucking hit you too. And God forbid you're in the line of this line. So if you stop in their way, they're going to slam into you. So all in all, this was a terrible idea. Bands do it all the time, but the way it was introduced to us was god awful. The amount of times I slammed or people got slammed into, I slammed into someone once and I felt awful about it. It was a trombone player. And it was their line that was wrong, not my line. My line was always right, but they had a slacker in the trombone section, which everyone always complained about. And he was always just a little off. Every time he was just a little off. And so she was behind him somewhere in the line. And she had, their line had moved too much to encroach on my end. And the people on the other side of our line had already gotten too close to us. So I didn't have any room to maneuver this way. Otherwise I would be slamming into them. So all I could do in moments like that, all you can do is trust that the people in front of you who didn't get hit, and didn't hit anyone, that you also aren't going to hit anyone. Like I said, it's just follow the leader. You just have to trust in your leader. And if your leader fucks up, then truly at that point, there's not much you can do. It's hardly your fault, even though you're the person who was in the collision. And I've always been, 5'9", 5'10", 5'11", whatever I was at that point in my high school career. Nice broad shoulders. And I'm tall and I'm lanky. So, if you're running into me, you're getting knocked. I'm not falling, you're falling. I'm a very steady person. Solid base. So if you're running into me, and especially if you're smaller than me, you're done for. And so I'm running as best as I can down this line, following the person right in front of me. And yeah, trombonists are well-known slackers, Lamau. So they are running down the other way. And we can both see this is going to happen before it happens. I'm running, and she is much smaller than me. and she's probably like 5'2", 5'3", real skinny thing, who plays a trombone, and she's running at me essentially, and she course corrects, but she can't course correct fast enough, and she nicks my arm, my like if I'm you hold your you hold the flute like this, so like she slammed into my elbow, and she went spinning, like a fucking top. I felt so bad. I still feel bad to this day, but it's like not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong in that situation, nor could I do anything to rectify that situation. It was wholeheartedly the fault of the people in front of her. And she knew that because she never like came at me and was angry at me or anything. In fact, she was very upset at the people in front of her in that line that she got knocked down, because the trombones, of all the people who got hit, trombones were the people who got fucking massacred all the time because of that one guy. Because once that guy is off by a lot, it's you make a small mistake behind his line and you're fucked, right? And so and I felt so bad because there was a rumor she was pregnant, and I felt so bad. I was like, oh my gosh, that I just, what are you, I wanted to like run over there and be like, are you fucking okay? Like, is everything fine? I don't remember if she was or wasn't at this point. I don't think she was, but I felt so bad about it. She was fine though. It happens, just got knocked around, and everyone missed her. No one, like, the person behind her fell on her, but like aside from that, everyone else was able to adjust. That was the worst part about it, is that if you fell, got hit or whatever, it was just like a line of dominoes falling, until enough people didn't run into each other. Because again, you don't know what's happening. You're staring at the person in front of you. You have a step and a half to realize if the person in front of you has stopped, unless they fell. If seeing someone fall, much easier to tell, because then kind of like an accident, you can just kind of swerve out of the way, but that doesn't mean other people are going to notice until it's too late. Anyways, that was the worst decision my band ever made, and we ended up not doing it. I think they just told us to march big. I think they just told us to make the 4 steps in marching steps, and to just march it, because they couldn't chant it. They could not chant it, as they shouldn't have. We had proven time and time again we were unable to be, that as a whole we were responsible enough to get that done. Because yeah, that shit was hard. And like I said, they also didn't teach it well. I wish they had brought like an actual dancer or something to tell us how to do it, because they were like hot garbage trying to explain it to us. I'm trying not to exclusively use like Christmas theming too much, just as an effort to make it a little bit more inclusive. But sometimes, we're just gonna change it a little bit. Honestly, this is something you would see in Texas. Burnt orange is the color of the University of Texas Austin. So there are a lot of burnt orange things in Texas as a result of. Maybe this is not to me. I am an A&M fan. Uh, I am a UT fan, a Longhorns fan. I'm not an A&M fan. I think that's what I said. I'm not an A&M fan. You know, I keep thinking about my childhood, and I keep trying to pinpoint like moments of racism I might have experienced as a kid. Because I always hear about other people experiencing having these moments, but like I don't. In school, we I went to a Title I school where the majority of the kids were either black or some sort of Latino Americano. Um, I could name all the white people who went to my school probably on like two hands. I went to a school of there were three grades at the school, and I graduated with 1,200. Um, of almost 4,000 kids. And I could name the white people on like a hand or two, especially in my grade. They just weren't white people really. There were some, there just weren't a lot. Like everyone outpaced the white people at my school. The Pacific Islanders, the people from any country and probably Asia would probably be more of them. If they were at that school, there was probably more of that demographic than there were white people. So like I never experienced like that kind of racism. Like systematic racism, absolutely, but like not from people coming up to me and like calling me a slur or anything. That just wasn't a thing. Probably because you would get jumped. And I remember I learned that there were more white people at the school in high school because I got this Texas A&M hoodie that was so comfortable. It was big on me. I think it was a guy's hoodie, so it was big on me because I always had an issue with hoodies coming up to my hand, and this one like went over my hands. Didn't just stop at my wrist; it went over my hands. Which, oh my god, what a luxury for me. It reached down and went like halfway down my thighs, which also never happened when I found other hoodies or jackets or anything of the sort. And like it was a light material because I was I had self-esteem issue girly. So like covering my entire body with this at all points of the year, phenomenal. 10 out of 10, beautiful. And so I wore this Texas A&M hoodie all the time. And there was this one time, I was really sad to lose it actually. There was this one time, I didn't know anything about the schools or the rivalries or the racism or whatever. I just like the colors more than burnt orange. I wasn't a burnt orange fan, and Texas A&M's color were maroon. So I was like, well, I like maroon a lot, or like burgundy, whatever you want to call it, a lot more than I like burnt orange. So I'm going to go for A&M. The perfectly acceptable way to choose what sport to support. I just like their colors better. And so I had this hoodie on, and probably like months. It had been months since I'd been wearing this hoodie in school. There was this group of like 4 or 5 white people who walked up to me, and like I knew one of them kind of like by like I had seen them around and heard their name before, but I had never interacted with them before nor had like a class with them. And like the other people around her, I'd literally never seen a day in my life. And to be honest with you, after that day, never saw them again either. So were they students? Were they not? I couldn't tell you. But I was just like, they came up to me and they were just like really weird. It was a very weird interaction overall, mostly because I wasn't picking up what they were putting down. And what they were putting down, I think, was they were trying to be racist, because they were working under the assumption that I knew that A&M was a very white town and very racist. And I didn't know that information. So they just kind of like their bullying started off to a terrible start because I had no basis of knowledge of where they were coming from. Um Also, I was well liked, so like no one ever bullied me. So I just never. I had no basis to work off on here. So they were trying to be like vague bullies. They weren't being outright about it. I'm assuming so they wouldn't get in trouble, but they would make me feel bad, I guess. But it didn't work because I was too stupid to realize what they were doing. I just had no idea what was happening. And they left like frustrated. Like they left mad at me. And I was so confused. I had never been more confused in my entire life after because like I don't know you. Why are you coming up to me to speak at me? Oh, you like my hoodie. I also like my hoodie. It's really cool. The pockets are really nice. And then they like interrupted me to like try and bully me. Yeah, I somehow failed my get bullied roll, or they failed their bully roll. Their charisma, their intimidation check, abysmal. Um, my wisdom, my perception, nil. And I was just like, and years. It took me years to realize what they were trying to do because didn't learn about A&M's history until much later. It was so funny when I realized that these kids failed to bully me. But I do think they stole my hoodie because I forgot it under my desk one time. I took it off in class and I wanted to put it back on afterwards. And I went back to class like a period later and I didn't get it. It was gone already. I'm fairly certain she stole it. But I wouldn't know because I never saw them in school. Like we didn't have any class that was close to each other. We didn't like I was an AP student, they weren't. So like I was in band, they weren't. Any of like the places I would frequent, they weren't in. So it's like I don't know. It was a real weird situation. I think they were trying to like bully me out of wanting to go to A&M because I wouldn't be welcome there or something. But yeah, I just didn't realize. I had no clue. It wasn't until years later that I realized those people that approached me were all white. And then I was like, oh, I wonder if they were trying to like intimidate me. I wonder if they were trying to bully me. I'm fairly certain they were. And I just had no idea. And it makes me wonder if there's other situations that I was supposedly being bullied about, and I was just completely oblivious to it. Completely unfathomable to me that someone might try to be mean to me, it turns out. It's like, oh, you're being mean to me? Why? Why would you try to be mean to me? Like, that's weird. Do you want to be friends instead? I can only imagine how many times it's happened. But it's just like, there's not a lot of white people that went to my school. So, like, no one, like, would bully me. Like, there was this guy in, like, my bus who once tried to do that shit, but, like, it wasn't racist bullying, it was just normal bullying. And it's because he was older than me, I don't know, and he just wanted to be intimidating. And I was gullible, I guess. And like someone else on the bus was because everyone in my neighborhood had grown up together. So we all knew each other. And we were all similar ages, just like 4 or 5 years apart. So like at most 4 or 5 years apart, you know? So everyone kind of knew everyone. So it wasn't like you could just like bully someone and get away with it. Because someone was just like, you know, just shut up, Arian or whoever it was. It's like, leave them alone. They don't even know what you're talking about. And I didn't. I think it was like some sexual innuendo. I'm not sure. I wasn't. really up to date with that kind of thing until I was a little older than whenever that was. And yeah, it's just like sometimes weird things happen, and I'm starting to realize that hey, maybe I was being bullied in that moment in time. I don't know. I'd have to assume that it's not a me thing, and it's just they were very bad at bullying. All right, our next one is dolls. Oh my god, fuck, am I gonna do dolls? What colors have I done? A lot of blue. I guess we could keep with the blue theme, even though this is hearts, isn't it? Maybe I'll turn this into clubs. Um, yeah, I think I'm just realizing I'm really bad at being bullied. Terrible target. I'm always gonna assume that you're there for a good reason and not a bad reason. Like I can't fathom like wasting time on bullying, you know? So I can't imagine that someone else would waste their time doing so. Have a good one, Dan. Yeah. Good luck on your move, and if you do stream it, I'll be there watching. And if you don't, well, I'm wishing you the best. I hope it does take less time than more. Have a good one, Dan. Bye. I'm trying to think of what these dolls are called. They're like the flat dolls that are like stuffed with like yarn hair for the most part. Um, fabric dolls, maybe it's what I would call them. Yeah, sure, that's close enough. I'm gonna hurt my feelings when I write vintage on this. I already know it. Okay, not that bad. I'm not. None of these look familiar, so I'm not hurting my own feelings here. Oh my god. Oh, there it is. That's the picture I was expecting to hurt my feelings. I see. I see them. Yep, there they are. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do like a Raggedy Ann looking one, and then we'll do like a bunny or something. It looks a little bit like a Krogan, I think, in outline. I also am in a big TTPD mood today, so like, get ready to listen to these 31 songs again. Oh, how do I make you not look like a clown? I'm just gonna have to trust the process and that I don't make this look like Carrot Top. I need you guys to stop seeing Carrot Top in what I'm doing. Let me tell you, I'm rapidly making more progress towards getting the items for um my tree farm here in the future. I'm very excited to get that done at some point. Oh, I can't do that color. Unfortunately, the first color just looks better against the background. Okay. We are doing this. Oh, actually. You know, this doesn't have to be perfect. This is definitely one of those like handmade dolls. So like I don't have to be particularly well well done here. This that beginning always, I don't know who it reminds me of. It's like Omarion or something. That guitar is so like 2000s um R&B core. But I need one more thing to finish my Christmas shopping, and then I'll officially be done. Although it is coming a little bit down to the wire, but I know what I want. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting a little bit on it. I should buy it now, so it's here by Christmas. I was just kind of hoping it would go a little bit more on sale, but I guess I shouldn't have anticipated that was going to happen if it didn't go on sale um during Christmas, or during Christmas, during Black Friday. Um, this is one of the saddest songs she's ever written. Maybe it's just because I'm like old now, and this is like probably one of the more relatable songs in elder at an elder age. Also, it immediately became unrelatable, or she immediately unrelated to the song. Like, I have to wonder, I would love to know when she wrote this song. Because like no matter what happens with her relationship with Travis Kelsey here, um at the end of the day, I feel like it was a very healing relationship for her. And like I have to hope that like this song she no longer feels is relatable to her. Oh my god. Hey there, Hawkeye. Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome in. How are y'all doing today? I hope all went well in your stream. Oh no. It's too big. Well, on the bright side, I made the legs real long, so I could just make the legs shorter. But yeah, welcome in, Hawkeye. Thank you so much for the raid. How was stream? Welcome in, everyone. I'm PB. The legend of Ben de Mustaine is complete. Yo, let's go. That's awesome, Hawkeye. I was so happy that you were able to finally finish the legend of Ben de Mustaine. That's so fun. How did we how did the story end? We killed another brain despite the game throwing karmic dice at you. Oh my gosh. Oh my. Pulling that nether brain, you did it. No matter what the die wanted, you got it done. But that's hell yeah. I'm so happy for you. It was a long time coming, but that nether brain had it coming. Ben and Lae'zel are now in limbo with Orpheus fighting to dethrone Vlakiv. Yeah, let's go. Hell yeah. That's mad exciting. How does that epilogue work then? When you go off with Lae'zel? Like, does Withers just straight up yoink you from the middle of the battlefields, essentially? I've never thought about it until this very second. Took 3 attempts. We discovered, thanks to Krellin's suggestion, that the karmic dice have been turned on without you knowing. Oh, I see. Oh, then that makes it even more epic when you that you found out that the game was literally against you. What's at the bottom of this? Okay, you have black shoes. Apparently, a whole bunch of Githyanki rebels work to astrally project you and lethal back to camp. Oh, interesting. We were gone for 6 months, then we were summoned by Withers to come join the celebration. You were this close to Rage Quit? I mean, I understand. I totally understand. I get it. A very justified crash out. Well, I can't wait to find out what shape those are when I make this smaller. I also think I need to make this a little bit smaller. That's dope though. I'm glad if you were able to work through it, literally fight through it, fighting not only the game but the nether brain to win. That was a win both for you and Ben at the end of the day. Next week, the Dark Urge begins. Wow, not even taking the week break. I love that. That's awesome. I still need to do a Dark Urge run. I have so many ideas of runs I want to do in Baldur's Gate that I just haven't done any of them. Cause I took a break from my main save to do I came out of my Baldur's Gate um I came out of playing Baldur's Gate and I for a little bit to go do something else, and then I'm at the end of Act 3 basically. I have a little bit more to go. But I was doing stuff very regimented that that like I'd have to like sit there and kind of stare at my quest log for a little bit to kind of remember what order I was doing everything in. And that's just such a tedious task to ask myself to do at this moment in time that I just have never gotten back to it. Of course, it may take an hour or more to create. Oh, of course. Going to use mod collection from Nexus that expands the classes and races. I really want to finish my first run through before they add all of the new subclasses. Even though I don't know what I would choose from the new stuff that they're adding, but I would love to try stuff out. But that's so fun. Oh, also with like all the fun new mods that even like that are native now to the game. I keep thinking about it because like I have like some free time this month, so I'm just like, do I start up my Baldur's Gate save again and finish it so I could like finally get out of this limbo and I can play the game again? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Oh, hi, welcome. I'm PB. Today we're doing the art for my cards, and for this game I'm doing called Gremlin Gifts. Um, and the thing about Gremlin Gifts is it's going to be based off of at least partially a 52 card deck. And each card is going to have an item associated with it. And I have this whole sheet full of items for all 52 cards or 52 items that we chose a couple of streams ago. So I could sit here and just draw for the next couple of months or next couple of days for my game that's going to be next week on the 18th. I'm going to be doing some I'm gonna be running my own game. I still need to cement down the rules for my game, but like I have the energy for it. I know what I want the game to be. It's just trying to figure out like the best way to get it. And honestly, at the end of the day, whatever ends up happening ends up happening. Whatever rules that I end up choosing. Balance, unbalance, whatever. We'll get it done. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. Right now we have dolls is what this card is. It'll come up here where we say Wasteland Wonders. I'm using the template I used for a other game I did. Not my own game, but a game I did for called Wretched Wasteland. Oh my god, speaking of, I don't know how this person found me, or I think my VOD channel. I intend to put all the games that I did, all the games I did for game night over on my PB Plays Inside channel. Channel. I tend to move the VODs over there. I just recently thought of it that it's probably something I should do. But I got today a message from somebody I don't know. But I guess they somehow, some way came across like the VOD came out. Maybe they were just looking up the game or something. and they left a comment on the video I did or the stream I did of that game. And they very much enjoyed what I did. And I was like, holy shit, hell yeah, pop off. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I haven't replied to it, but I'm glad that they enjoyed it. Oh, wow. Hey, maybe I should pop in over here every once in a while and look at stuff. Apparently, my day 50 of 100 Days of Horror with Callan has 34 views for some reason. I have another one with 17 views. Who is watching these? Why do I have so many random views on a lot of these? What is happening? No one's leaving a comment, so it's not like I realized. I just uploaded all of these. What is happening right now? I have 70 hours of watch time in the last 28 days. Apparently, on November the 15th, I had 45 hours watched. And it's been like nothing since. Probably because, I mean, I think I've uploaded things since. That must have been the day I just dumped all the videos. Yeah, I published all of these on November the 1st, it looks like. No, I've definitely done another dump. I mean, no one subscribed, so I'm assuming they just don't really care. Um, what is why is this also inconsistent? It goes from November 6th to December 21st. We're just not going to rely on that one. That's wild. Maybe I should check out my VOD channel every once in a while. I just assume no one's over there watching anything. Average view time was 20 something minutes on some of these VODs. That's wild. Someone either likes your stuff or was using a bot. True. That's wild. Sure. Why the fuck not? I don't know. At 2,100 impressions. Yeah, November 12th to November 19th, my content must have been pushed out heavily. Some video or something was pushed out heavily because I got a bunch of hits at that point. There we go. Wild. Anyways, yeah, somebody left me a comment. Apparently they're friends with Wim Lawson, the person who wrote the game, which is cool. Oh, here it is. Yeah, their friend made the game, so it's cool to see actual plays of it. And my whole setup is great, is what they said. Is this my first one? This looks like my first one. This was my first one. This was my one 7 months ago. I have done another one since then. That's weird. That's the one I thought that because the one I just did has a like on it. So I assume that's the one she was talking about. Ah, I am a month plus behind, and so am I. I'm always behind. I wish it automatically pushed. I remember before 2 months, so like that's something, I guess. I don't make any effort. I do want to go through here and like put these all in playlists and stuff. To so they're easier to watch. And like I said, I want to move all my game night stuff over onto the PB Plays Inside channel. I think I want to edit them down a little bit, but that is a tedious task that I don't know if I want to get back into doing that kind of stuff. I probably should, but I don't know. Sorry, I was just reading a post that a friend wrote. But yeah, I got the notification today. I was like, that's awesome. I still need to reply to it, but that's awesome. I'm glad. I really like Case Closed. Case Closed is one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite setup that I've done for a game night so far. I don't get me wrong. I love the work I did for Tangled Blessings and Sanguine Paths, but that entire month was 1,000% just like a blur to me. So I don't truly recall everything that I did. It's all a little bit of a blur, but like Case Closed was a lot of fun. Like I really enjoyed making these cards for Wretched Wastelands also, but I also all in the blur. I hate the raid and run, but I am working early shift this week. Have to log in by 7:30. Good luck. Have a good night, Hawkeye. Thanks so much for stopping by and bringing over your community. I really appreciate it. Have a good rest of your night. And the next one I want to do is a bunny. So let's do some sort of pale pink. No, let's do something like that. Let's do like maybe a. No, I do like the pale pink idea, even though I think the purple looks a little bit nicer on this background. It's just seeing what these pinks look like on this background color. I tried to go realistic, and that's quickly gone out of the realm of possibility. I've just straight up just want to choose colors that contrast with the background. And hey, you know what? Maybe that's just my style. Maybe my style is simply to do this sort of thing. Did I close everything I opened? Oh, I sure did. Control Shift T. There we go. Oh, it's gonna take me forever to find these bunnies again. Wait, maybe not. There they go. Because they look real fucky, and I enjoy that about them. And I would like to emulate that. Dude, my nails have been growing so fast. Like, I feel like a baby with how like sharp they are. They keep getting because I'm not expecting them to have grown out. So whenever like I itch something or scratch something, I'm literally scratching myself I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys know how sharp babies everything's are. Teeth, nails, whatever it may be. They are so sharp for no reason. And so that's how my nails feel right now, and it's just like so wild because I keep cutting them and it just keeps not taking, I guess. This is so big in comparison to what we did before. Let me make this a little smaller. All right. We're gonna have a little dress on. These dresses that's like tight here, and then we expand down here. We have like little pleats. I do want to adjust this a little bit. I cannot imagine being like a doll maker. A, I feel like it would creep me out. But B, like to have to think about reinventing basically the wheel, it's wild to me. Like once you got it, like that's the thing. Like I don't blame a lot of companies for never changing like how they do things. That's the first time I've heard waters flowers. I always hear brought us flowers. I know it's not that, but that's what I always hear in those lyrics. Since day one, even though I knew the lyrics, like I was reading along with the lyrics day one, I'm like, that's not what you said. I did one listen. I always do this. I listened once without lyrics, and then I listened the second time with lyrics. Because I'm just real bad at hearing words my first listening through. I'd rather get the vibe of the song and then like get the vibe of I need a different color here so I can kind of like discern what I want here. I want there to be like this is our anchor point, right? But it has to go on my arm. So if I put it on, no, I can go like that. I'm not gonna worry about it. I had a vision for this, but I'm not, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go with like these nice little kind of sleeves, kind of not sleeves. I remember hearing this album, expecting to hear a lot of songs about Joe Alwyn. Uh, Taylor's ex-fiance, and shocked when I heard this song, and I was like, "Hello." Also, I love that everyone who was name checked in this album on this album was like hyped that Taylor Swift name drop them, including Patti Smith. You're not as hot, and I'm not Patti Smith. I've already forgotten who it is. Dean Thomas, whatever his name was. I'm not good at like folds on clothing or fabrics. So like I am doing what I would consider my best. You know, we did our best, and maybe sometimes your best isn't good enough, and we just have to deal with that. Little weird, but you know, we're just gonna have to deal with it. We're just, you know, you and I, we're just gonna have to deal with what this looks like. Is there anything else I have to do today aside from this? Tomorrow, if anyone's still here, tomorrow I'm not going to be streaming on my channel. I don't think. I might do an early stream tomorrow if I am up to it, but in the evening between 6:30 and 10:30ish, I'm going to be live with a narcissist over on twitch.tv/narcissist. And we are going to be watching the Game Awards. It's going to be a narcissist, Kiana, and I think, are going to be doing, are just going to be watching the Game Awards and talking about it, kind of like I've done before with the, you know, talking about the games that are coming out. Also, I guess there's going to be trailers for games, so that'll be fun. Honestly, probably the reason he invited me, aside from us just being friends. I'm gonna make this face a little bit bigger and we'll see how we feel about it. I feel like that looks even more alien. Have you guys heard about these drones that the government's being real shifty about? That apparently were over New Jersey for a while? Are probably still over New Jersey? Maybe I need to erase them. I like something I'm unsatisfied about this. Probably the smile. The smile is probably the part that's like really throwing me off. Or maybe like the shape of the head. Yeah, that's weird. I mean, it's weird. It's not that weird. It's probably some government military bullshit where they're not telling us shit again. Because there's no way in hell we're just allowing something to just be chilling in the sky over US soil, an unidentified something over US soil without knowing what it is. We're a little too trigger happy with our, what is it, 150 something billion dollar budget with military bullshit. I can't imagine that's how much money in taxes are being spent. And we can't identify, and you know, we don't know what it is. My sheer assumption is that it is something that you know exactly what it is and it's their bullshit. It's some sort of new technology, whatever. Because if like what people are saying is true and they're like the size of like a car, like you're kidding me, you know? Um, yeah, so that I literally once again right before stream I found out about it. I was like chilling here eating my food, trying to decide whether or not I was going to stream today because it was already like 7, almost 8. And I saw that video and I was like, of somebody like reporting on it. But I always think like UFO or unidentified whatevers is kind of bullshit. But apparently a lot of people are showing videos of it. They look just like planes. So I'm assuming by drones, we don't mean like the little drones that we drive around. I'm assuming we mean like plane drones. I don't know. Also, apparently in the Bay Area, they're starting to appear also. I don't know, man. I don't know what the deal is. I'm assuming military, our military bullshit. I'm not convinced that this is anything but our military testing some stuff out. Oh, I don't even know what that is anymore. I love this song, by the way. Down Bad is the most interesting production on this entire album, and I love it. Speaking of alien shit, also, it's just so funny listening to Torture Poets Department after Taylor's in like a happy, healthy relationship with like someone who's not a dickhead. Um, and like someone who's very supportive, like someone who's actually like a good boyfriend. And it's just so fascinating because like Travis Kelsey is also in his own right very famous and was before, you know, him and Taylor officially met, let alone started dating, right? But like the way that I think he approaches his fame in comparison to like a lot of the people Taylor knows in her real life was so novel. Because like athletes have no choice but to be in the public, being, you know, criticized all day, every day in their sport. Um, there is no winning as an athlete with when it comes to public opinion. Whether you're doing well in your sport or poorly in your sport, you're gonna get talked about in good and bad ways. Like no controlling that narrative, which I think is extremely relatable to like a pop star, especially one as heavily criticized constantly as Taylor Swift. Big, there's nothing you can do to win. One of the best examples is, you know, recently it's been reported that Taylor Swift gave upwards of $200 million in bonuses to her crew as the tour ended. And I don't think that's counting you know, the raises and the bonuses and the everything that her crew has gotten over the last year and a half. But there's a ton of criticism about it. One way or another, there's just criticism about it. So like I said, there's just like no winning uh for her either. Nor anyone, really. It's so hard to please everyone. No matter what you do, no matter how much good you do, there's no winning. And so I wonder if it was novel to see Travis have to deal with like all the negative press that comes from being a tight end that's getting older and also part of you know, the winning team now going for their three-peat. Because man, do people hate a dynasty? And look, you know what? I get it. Because I hated the Brady era. Um, Hated it. Cannot stand it. To this day, I do not like the Patriots because of it. And I probably never will like the Patriots because of it. And I delight in the fact that they suck now. And that Bill Belichick couldn't get another job in the NFL as a coach. And instead now apparently is if the if the agreement is met, he's going to go to Chapel Hill here in the next year. Going to UNC. Yeah, I'll do it in this color. I think I need to make this edge a little sharper. We have an ad coming up. But yeah, I wonder if it was like novel the way athletes deal with being in the public so much, like forced, like it is their sport to be in the public, and that's along with his personality was something that like really attracted her to like coming out and like supporting and stuff like that. Because like wags are popular in their own and unpopular in their own like in their own right, like especially like on the Chiefs, you know? Like Brittany Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes' wife, is not very popular in the same way that like Aisha Curry um comes in and out of popularity also. Who is Steph Curry's wife. And the thing that they have in common, they're wives of athletes in their absolute prime, or who have been in absolute prime and have been extremely dominant in the sport. And like I said, good or bad, they're gonna get criticized. I don't know how to end this shadow over here. And there's like absolute precedent for wags being judged by the public forever. So I wonder if that was interesting, like a new interesting dynamic. That and like Taylor's just like older, and I feel like kind of over it. Like if you're gonna hate, like I think it's like one of those like if you're gonna hate me, whatever. As I think evidence along by this performance department. I mean, what? Let me tell you, one of my favorite things about Travis Kelsey is that he is absolutely he is like a Taylor Swift fan first, boyfriend second. Um and so whenever he's asked about like what his favorite song is from Taylor Swift by Taylor Swift, he's always like, well, first of all, it's blank space. I know this woman has written two songs about me in particular. Um that I will say after this, but I need you to know first and foremost, I am a blank space stan. No matter what. Second, and I'm just like, I don't think there's a singular song that Taylor Swift can write that will hold space in Travis's mind like fucking blank space does. He's like alchemy and so high school, those are great, awesome, I love them. But also, have you heard blank space though? Because blank space is an absolute masterpiece that I think everyone should know and have listened to and understand why it is the best song on in her repertoire. And personally, I think that's very funny. And honestly, I think that I would find that endearing. I that is endearing. That like just because you wrote a song for me that it is not my it's not my fave. And like it's I love the song. Like thank you so much. It's so beautiful. But also you wrote blank space and I fear that nothing will ever top that for me. And that's okay. Cuz there's something about just having the nostalgia for like an older song like there is not that is going to be more iconic to me than Taylor Swift's hold on, let me make sure I'm saying the correct album. Because I love 1989. 1989 is great. 1889 is also not the album I grew up listening to, you know? Like, Enchanted, I will always love Enchanted. It is a classic that I will forever love. But Fearless, hands down, is always going to be, I think, my favorite um album she's ever dropped. And I do not like to disrespect Fearless gets, because Fearless, hands down, is my favorite album she's ever dropped. Debut, also bangers. Fearless, however, all bangers. Like, You Belong With Me, 15 Love Story, You're Not Sorry, The Way I Left, The Best Day. I grew up with those songs and nothing will ever beat those songs. Is I just need you guys to know nothing's ever gonna beat those songs for me. The volume went up on that without me touching it, and that was terrifying. They said, bump that Fearless, baby. It's what they said. You know, what if I do? like a little two-tone deal here. Like the nostalgia for me in this album is just so strong that nothing is gonna beat this, you know? I can love so many more of her songs, and they will hit so much harder than like this does. I need to look up what suspenders look like before I go too far here. Okay. Okay. I don't know why the first two suspenders were weirdly sexual in the preview when I just wrote suspenders. But not a fan. Smile. Oh, okay. I was just gonna do two separate bands here. But then like crisscross on your back. It looks like. So like, I mean, if you've worn suspenders, you know what they're like. Apparently. But like they're like this in the front, and then they are like this on the back. Interesting. So that means they're this. They're an M. Oh, there's also some that are like this, that like go around your arm. So you only see the top bit of it. Interesting. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Yeah, I think I would find that endearing that he likes a song that I wrote years ago. And would almost prove to me that like he's not here for the clout of like dating you. Cause like I feel like if you're a fan of a musician, I think part of their fear is that and you're already a fan, is that you're just like a weirdo, you know? That like you idolize them, the image of them, who they are as an artist and not who they are as a person. AKA a lot of the new Eras fans. I'm at the end here. I was gonna try and do something like fancy here, but like I fear I don't know how to. I need to make this a little bit thicker so we can know it's connected to this band and not just hanging on by a thread. And then how does the back look? Probably have the same clippy thing, huh? Oh, there's probably, hold on, there's probably also like the buckle here. I wonder what it was like going back and re-recording these albums. Because like everything is so serious when you're a teenager. And then you grow up and you kind of are just like, ooh, everything was not actually that serious. And the song was already really reflective. So like reflective as like an 18-year-old versus reflective as a 30 something year old. It's just like Love Story. Love Story is a fucking iconic song. And you can pry it out of my cold dead hands. I forgot to do this thing. I'm gonna make this a little bit of a lighter color. Juliet! The amount of proposals I've seen to this song at the Eras tour on TikTok, it makes me cry so much. It's all very cute because it's obvious like that the person being proposed to like it means a lot to them. It's just so cute because like you could see how nervous the person about to propose is. And like counting, like singing along to the song to make sure they don't miss the cue. And also everyone around them freaking out. It's very cute. And this is the timing. It's just so cute, you know? Oh my god, my back. All right, let's keep on keeping on. Oh no, this image doesn't show me the other side. Okay, it looks exactly the same. The song is also iconic. Like I said, all of these songs are just basically my childhood, teenagehood. Taylor's only so much older than me. And so we're gonna finish these suspenders, and I think I'll call it a night there. I know I started late, but that also means it is late. Especially after having sung these songs so many times in concerts. I also wonder if like Taylor Swift gets her own songs stuck in her head, you know? Because like I get things that I have not ever finished stuck in my head a lot. But I can't help but wonder if that's because like I've never finished the things. That's what keeps them in my head. Or if it's the same even if I had released them. Yeah, let's just not put that little tuft there. I was trying to look a little bit like an Englishman with like a little tuft of hair at the top and the big old mutton chops. I also want to do one of these in like brown. And I do this. I want to invert the selection. I want to copy the selection. I would like to put it in new. This song, also iconic. Here we go. Then we can just delete that real quick. It's okay if there's a little bit left in there. That's not the part that matters to me. What matters to me is that this layer, we change the hue of this. Oh, but it's black, so it's not going to change the hue. The color balance. Can I? Yes. Now to figure out the magic combination to get brown. Oh, of course, red. I'm thinking kind of that color though. Maybe a little less red than that. Maybe a little more yellow. Yeah, okay. All right, me gusta. All right, let's turn that on. Oh, and it looks good in the background. Let's go. All right, let's lasso this puppy. Because we're gonna turn you. Oh, I have like a little bit of gunk down here. Let me just erase that real quick. I also, oh, I want the black one up top. Okay, well, first let me just move this one. This will make it a little bit longer. Right. Okay, with that, then we're gonna grab this one again. I'm gonna put it where I want it. This is also a banger. I do. This is such a pick me song and I love it. I do. You wear short skirts, I wear t-shirts. You belong with me. On the bright side, this ad thing is working out great. It is scaring me every single time. Let me make the opacity a little bit lower so I can tell where my edges are. I can also get that soft eraser here and just add a bunch of hardness. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Let's bring this back a little bit. And now let's do this. This is such a quintessential teenage song, though. It's like, I love you. Why can't you see it? I'd be perfect for you. And it's so serious, too. It's so funny. I think the funniest thing is that I've never, in high school, I never had these thoughts about the gender I actually care about. Um, because like in my head, like that was never going to be a thing. And in high school, I thought I was bisexual, so like I only had these thoughts about men. So like I can only laugh at it when I hear it. I need to fix this before I merge these two. I didn't realize how I hadn't finished this one yet. This strap. Let's just erase it there because I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work here. Let me just make sure all of this is done. Also getting a little bit of a stretch. All right, now I can do a little bit more erasing over here. Oh, right. I forget that it takes from like what I'm looking at. I also wonder what it was like to make the decision about whether or not you were gonna use your more country accent on your country albums. I wonder if that's one of the reasons why debut is is one of the last albums. Because debut is arguably her most like country sounding album. Oof. You know what I just thought of? How I might want to bend some of these instead of just having two M's on top of each other. Hate that for me, truly. There we go. I was just like, what if I just like started playing around with these straps? I don't think Taylor would ever go back to it, but like to hear another Taylor Swift country album would be a superior, actually. Like aside from the country fans absolutely hating on her for changing her genre and stuff. I simply do cannot see her going back to it, which again, a true shame. This one's going to be a little bit of a surgery, but like here we go. And I simply cannot blame her We're not going like I'm not even the big country girly, but I will say that Country Taylor was awesome. But folksy seems to be like where she feels comfortable right now, or like alt pop, which honestly a lot of people are in alt pop at the moment. What is it? An Avenue? What is it? Avenue Q? Avenue K? I don't know what song it reminds me of. Oh, we had the 3 hour mark. Nice. I think that's where I want it. Oh, oh that's nope. Mm, erased a little too much there. I think this will be good to erase now. Did I tell you guys that I finally got my Mew? I I finally at long last got all the first 150 cards. Although not all of them are the OGs. I have several EX cards or like full arts of those cards. So now I'm on a journey to get all like the rest of the cards essentially. And maybe it reads suspenders, maybe it doesn't, but either way, I'm done with it. Maybe I'll leave it like that for now. And I'll come back to it if I feel like it. All right. So we're almost done with hearts. We have a wreath, a burlap sack, and picture frames. The wreath's probably going to be the hardest one. Burlap sack's probably going to go about as quickly as pillows did, and picture frames are probably going to be about that speed too. Um, I thought the spenders were going to take me less time, but I guess I just didn't understand what that looked like. After this, we're going to go over to clubs. I think we're going to finish on diamonds. So we'll go hearts, clubs, spades, diamonds. But for tonight, that's all we're gonna do. So thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching. I really appreciate it. Tomorrow, like I said, you can find me over on Anaris's channel. We're gonna be doing the game. We're just gonna be co-streaming the game awards. Fine, I'll just copy and paste it if you don't want to remember that's what I wrote down. But yeah, I'm gonna be over on Anaris's channel with Kiana, and Anaris watching the Game Awards, watching the new trailers of stuff, and it should be a good time. It's gonna be about 3 hours of us sitting there chilling, hanging out, and judging. Then on Friday you can find me back here doing the stuff and things. I have stuff I need to get done. So aside from that, thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching. Thank you, Callan. Thank you, Callan and Mr. Limey for the lurks. As you guys go off and do your own things for the night. Thank you so much, Dan, for stopping by. Thank you so much, Hawkeye, for the raid, and Krellin for stopping by and saying hello. Someone followed while I was offline, but I don't know if they're a real person or not, so we'll find out if they ever show up. But also shout out to the person who commented on my video of Case Closed, a cold case CTRPG by Wim Lawson. I'm gonna go reply to that message, and then I'll have to decide what I'm doing with the rest of my night. But anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your morning, evening, night. Don't forget to be nice to each other. Don't forget to be compassionate, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye. And thank you guys to my lurkers so much. I really appreciate you guys. Without you guys, we wouldn't have like as much cool stuff as we have on stream. The ads really kind of just like round out each month to kind of like an easy to understand amount of like money I'm gonna get at the end of the month here on Twitch, which I don't oh, I don't get paid monthly on Twitch. I get maybe every 2 months, sometimes every 3 months, depending on how much I stream and how interesting people find my streams that month. So I appreciate all of you nonetheless, my turbo viewers, my subs, my everything. But I want to thank my lurkers and my ad watchers, because you guys, make the stream, just leaving your numbers here, leaving my stream on while you guys do other things. That's kind of awesome. So like, I can't thank you guys enough for thinking of me that much. But also, thank you guys so much. And to show my appreciation, here's a 3-minute ad. You guys rock, lurkers and ad watchers. I love you all. And for my sub watchers and my turbo viewers and my non-ad watchers, yeah, you guys rock too. As much as the ad watchers do contribute, you guys obviously contribute monthly. And whenever you watch, so that's super cool. I really appreciate you guys for hanging out and supporting me, and thinking of me when it comes to your streaming options, because you guys could give your primers and your subs and your money and all of that to other people, but you chose me and I'm unbelievably grateful about it. Um, let's see. The things I'm going to be using the payouts here in the next couple of months, I think, and maybe the whole next of the year, a lot of the time, at least half of the payouts are probably going to go to like buying TTRPGs, or like things for the TTRPGs for game night. I have a lineup for, hold on, let me look at my calendar for game night. If that's of interest to you, obviously not all of y'all stop by to watch things for game night, but I appreciate those who do, because like I really enjoy game night and I really enjoy playing those games on game night. Let me look at my calendar real quick. I tentatively have plans for oh, I don't have that written on this one. I tentatively have something planned for January 29th, February 19th, and April 16th. Maybe the 18th, probably the 16th. Because the 16th is that Wednesday. So I already have 3 game nights lined up with other people. So that should be a lot of fun. Maybe I should like do like game night duo edition or something like that. Something fun to like emphasize that it's not normal. To emphasize it's not solo. It's like duo night. I mean, it's game night, so it's not solo in general, but like maybe I should start making that distinction with the branding. Also, I'll probably have to like be a little bit more decisive with like the logo and stuff for game night, instead of it just being a cool font that I paste on everything. Anyways, that's what's coming up. I'm looking forward to it all. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. The outbreak's about to end in about 10 seconds. And I appreciate you guys, those of you who hang out with me, for hanging out with me. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your morning, evening, nights. You guys, 2 ad watchers who are back, thank you guys so much for watching that ad. And I will see you all, if not tomorrow on the Narcissus channel, Friday back on this channel.